Okay, so hi Megan. Thank you so much for coming on to Boss Talks with us. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Right. Yeah.
Best as I can right now.
Yeah. That's yeah, that's the most we can ask for, huh?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you start with giving us just a quick introduction to you, about you as a manager and as an executive and a business owner too.
Okay. So my name is Megan Wolford, and I currently work for Billion Dollar Baby Entertainment, which is the record label for the baby. But the artists on the label are Stunner for Vegas and Rich Dunk, um, owned by the baby. I also have my own company, which is called Touchdown Music Group, and specializing in artist development, consulting, and management. So we do a little bit of everything for artists, different artist services. If you want to improve your songwriting skills, I can connect you with a songwriter. If you
Ooh.
want voice lessons, I can connect you with a vocal instructor. We do styling. If you would like, like a look overhaul or to kind of start branding yourself look wise, we do that. And of course, I have my artist, Sianka, under that, who I manage full time. And then I consult a slew of other artists on different things. I mean, they can keep me on retainer where they can ask me questions anytime, or sometimes I do, one-on-one consultation. So, and that can be about anything. It could be about, starting out in the music industry, if you want to be an executive or if you want to be an artist, um, or it could just be I need somebody to review my songs, kind of like A&R services. So different things. I mean, it's almost anything you could think of as an artist. Whatever they would need, I could, connect them to, myself or someone else that can help them.
Awesome. So Billion Dollar Baby has risen so fast. It's one of the hottest indie labels right now. What's
Uh-huh.
it like working with a company that has just shot into stardom so quickly?
It's really challenging. Let me put that out there as the first thing. I work around the clock. Whenever an artist or the person above me, who's the president of the label, needs something, I have to be there, to help solve the problem. But it's very fun. Like you said, it shot up. He's one of the biggest artists right now. Stun is pretty big, and Rich Dunk is gaining a lot of traction, pretty big himself. So it's interesting to see all of their careers like intersecting and the different levels they're on and kind of like growing. So I'm learning a lot, and it's just a lot of work because it's a small label. I do a lot. I do a little bit of everything there. So running like the logistics and the operations of the day to day for the artist and the label. So that could be booking transportation, making sure when they're on tour, you have a tour manager and you have everybody that's at the venue, but we're making sure from the time they leave point A that they make it to point B safely with everything they need in between, and everything when they get there is running smoothly. So it's a
Wow,
lot.
you're really doing it all. So
Yeah.
what made you decide, with all that you're doing for Billion Dollar Baby and as a student as well, what made you decide to take the plunge into starting your own business?
Um, I really, I just wanted something that was my own. And, a lot of people kind of were like, you have the skills to do this. And I just didn't want to talk myself out of anything anymore because I've been wanting to have my own business for a while. And, I wanted to be sure of what I wanted to offer. So it's been kind of in the making, and I just, finally did it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I to I want to be a staple in the business. So, I wanted to have something behind me, to offer. I didn't want to be like this person who is just, all talk.
Yes, I love that mentality, especially for women in the business. I feel like it's so important for us to have ownership
Right.
of
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. So how does it go balancing all of that, your own business and a major or a huge indie label, with being a full-time student as well?
Well, I actually graduated. So I graduated in 2018. Yeah. So I have my master's in music business. And while I was at NYU, it was a lot because I was in night classes. But after the first semester, you're required to have an internship. So while I was in New York, I would be in my internship from like 10 to 4 or 10 to 5. And then I would have to hop on the train and go to classes. So literally 3 to 4 days out of the week, I was going to an internship and then going to night classes. So I would leave my house at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 10, 11 o'clock at night, especially if there's like an exam or something. But yeah, so that was 2 years ago while I was in New York. But right now,
Wow.
it's the same thing. I go to work around 9 o'clock in the morning. Depending on how busy it is, I may get off at 5, I may get off at 9.
Right.
And then with my artist, Sianka, I more than likely have something to do with her after I get off work. It could be an
Wow.
interview, it could be a podcast, it could be a photo shoot, anything. So the majority of the week I'm at work during the day, and then doing something with her in the evening.
Wow, that
And
sounds like
then I
busy.
may have a consultation, or I may have something else to do with another client. So
Touchdown.
yeah.
Wow. So where did you get the name Touchdown Music Group from?
So I've always loved, music my whole life. And I used to really, really like the theme song to the TV show Taxi. And I told my mom, I had to be like no more than 10 years old, between like 8 and 10 years old. And I told her like, I really like the song. And she was like, oh, that's the song called Angela by Bob James. And so that was kind of like my first time understanding theory of music. Like, okay, it's not just music that you hear on the radio. Like there's, people know stuff about music basically.
Right.
So anyway, the song is called Angela, and it's on the album, Bob James album called Touchdown. And that was like one of the like earliest pieces of music I bought with like my own money. So it's always just been an album that I really enjoyed and that I really loved and was really special to me. And when you score touchdowns in football, that's gaining you points going towards the win. So that's kind of like a double type of meaning for it.
Nice. I love that. That's a beautiful name with great meaning. So one last thing, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give a young woman who's looking to also start her own business?
It's like super cliche, but I mean, you honestly have to really believe that you can do something. That those dreams that you have, that no matter how far away they seem, whether it's location wise or whether it's just attainability wise, like it can be done. You just really have to do the work. And I say that because I'm from North Carolina, and the majority of music business is in New York or LA now. And so I was always really scared that I wouldn't be able to get out of North Carolina, and that I wouldn't be able to have a career coming from North Carolina, that I had to grow up in New York, or that I had to grow up in California or Atlanta. So yeah, I really have like a journey that shows like if you just just step out on fear. I know it's really cliche. Nike's, slogan is just do it. But that's why I tell a lot of people, like, sometimes you just have to like, you really just gotta step into it. Like you just make that decision one day and you're like, that's it. So, just really believe in yourself, and not just saying go for it, but really believe that that you really have that possibility to achieve more than the situation that you're in. I had hundreds of talks with myself and convincing myself and like telling yourself like, girl, like you can really do this. It may not look like it now. You may feel like you're falling behind or you're not where you want to be right now, but yeah.
Yeah. So how did you kind of get over that self-doubt and having those conversations with yourself?
I feel like, my whole life I've kind of been this person where it's like, this is what's supposed to happen. Like, so how do I make this happen? And some things kind of are like innate to me. Like when I latch on to thinking something is how something is supposed to be, it just kind of falls in place. So like when I went to school, I never thought about not going to school. I never thought about not going to college. So it was just like, college is definitely going to be hard, but I have to apply. I have to do it. Like, I always wanted to work in music. So in my mind, it was like, okay, you're going to work in music, but how are you going to do it? So it was just kind of like latch on to what those purposes are for you. And it'll really fall into place. A lot of things that I've wanted to happen have fallen into place without me really tapping into that one thing at that moment. It's kind of like I just kind of set myself up for it. just by doing things, and you'll see that things fall into place when you put it out there, whether it's like physically, whether it's verbally. Even with the things that I do with Sianka, you know, it's crazy because she's writing her debut album now, and we really wanted to go like to the mountains and just be away from everything, be in a new environment. And we had been saying it, and then, you know, she's, you know, we have a deal on the table, and one of the things they've offered is to fly out to a mountain city, basically, where she can record and write the album. It was like, it's so totally random and crazy, like that's one of the things that they offered, and we were having conversations about wanting to go into the mountains. So it's just like so many of those things have really manifested just by thinking it and then just figuring out, because it's a lot of figuring out. I won't say that I know the steps, but it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
So
power of manifestation.
I'm very big on affirmations and actually putting it out there, whether you're writing it down, whether you're saying it, whether it's something that you're doing.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The power of affirmations is strong. Well, thank you so much, Megan. It's been wonderful. I appreciate you being here with us for our first Boss Talk.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.